Good morning and welcome to the preview for Happy Valley on Wednesday. It's a reasonable card. There's a jackpot in the TT on races 4, 5 and 6. There's a couple of other races that aren't too bad. We start on the opening class 5 as normal. Got number 5, Ray of Gold. Now, problem with this, of course, is drawn barrier 8 with Mosse on it. You could sit out there for the trip. I'm hoping he drives forward. There's not a lot of speed here, so he should be able to get outside the lead. If he can do that, it's probably going to be hard to beat. Gracie Tom from the good draw. It's been settling a little bit closer than normal, so I give it a good chance. Young Supreme. It's had a suck run its last couple and just battles. I think the 1200's probably better. The last couple of runs over the 1000 have just been a little bit too sharp for it. I think this is probably a much better race for it. And from the good draw, it's going to sit right behind them. So I think it's got a good chance. Of the rest, Flying Keeper's drawn well. There's two that are coming out of some trials now. Both of them have got no form and shouldn't really be able to run anywhere, but they have improved on what they've shown in the past, and that's number 2, Lily Star, which won a barrier trial, and it was pretty impressive, given that it's got terrible form now. It's drawn outside, and Marrera goes on it, so it's going to be probably 10 or 15 points under its true price. But it's improved and might be one at a bit of a price. It'll probably still be 8 or 10 to 1, but it should be $20 or $30. The other one is number 4, Massive. Now it's drawn well. So doesn't ride too many winners, that's the problem. But again, this one went to the front in the barrier trial and then he just pulled it up at the 200 and let it walk to the line. Now that was a big improvement on anything it's done prior to this, so I wouldn't be surprised if it fell into a place at a massive price. I've got 5 on top. Ray of Gold from 11, 7, 9, chances to 2, 3, 4 and 8. We go to race 2. You Will Be Glorious will probably start favourite. Problem with this horse, it gets back. Now they're on the C course, so the back markers are really going to struggle to make ground here. And that's my biggest concern, so I wouldn't want to be taking anything under 4 or 5 to 1 this horse with its racing pattern. Rising Power should have won it. Probably should have won its last 2, actually. Found a bit of trouble. Douglas White goes on it, so that's a big plus. And he's riding really well at the moment. So I think with all the pressure being off him now with Purton and Marrera sort of dueling at the top, he's ticking along quietly in the background. Doesn't get all the short price favourite rides now. And he's actually riding a few winners at a price. So don't mind him at the moment. Better Announced. Now, this didn't run the 2000 out, went far too hard and then collapsed coming around the corner. It's had a nice soft trial since then. Back to Happy Valley 1650, that's its go. There doesn't appear to be a huge amount of speed in this race. This could get to the front fairly quickly. If they let it bowl along and bludge in the middle stages, could nick off and win this. Of the rest, Step High, robust momentum backing up from the weekend, Spirit Soaring, Champion Ranger. Not a great race, but might be a bit of value around the 1. I've got 4 on top with some question marks from 10, 1, 3, 9, 5 and 11. We go to race 3, no depth in this race, small field. I think the winner comes out of 2, Roman Win, 1, Shishwan Bigger, 5, Mr. Ginger, and the 8, One of a Kind. The others don't appear to have much of a winning chance. They're all badly out of form. Mr. Ginger, it's trialled well. It's probably got a bit of upside coming back after 3 months. Probably hard to beat. But I think the winner does come out of those. Not a race I like at all. 2 from 1, 5 and 8. We go to the opening leg of the TT. I think we got an anchor here with number 7, Winning Boy. It played up before the start. They put it into the gates and it reared just as the gates opened, missed the kick. It was a long way back. It was then virtually last at the 500 and then he got held up and weaved and he closed and got beaten a length. Should have won easy. As long as he doesn't repeat that and find trouble from a good draw in England, I think it's the one to beat. Number 4, Fire Starter, it got knocked out of the race as soon as it hit the ground last start. It was normally up on the speed. It settled down last, and that was literally the end of it. So you got to forgive it for the one run. It's working well. 10, Happy Homing. Always runs good races here, but the barrier's not going to help its cause. Barrier 12, it's going to have to work. Lovely Boy, same applies to it. It's coming back off 7 or 8 weeks. Its trial was average, nothing flash, but the barrier's not going to help it. Peri Saffron, this gangster, loomed up last start, looked like it was going to win at a big price, and then realised it was in front and did what it normally does and just spat the bit and walked to the line, ran third. Beacon place in this. Bernard's Choice, barrier 1, probably no favours for it, doesn't have any early toe, but it was a reasonable win last start. My smoky in the race is number 12, Excel Oneself. Now, it's got no form. Its track work's been all right. It ran around in a few races at Sha Tin where it showed good speed against better horses than these, and then he brought it to the Valley just last run before the let-up, and it led in a reasonable race and got beaten 3 lengths. Now, if it was to run up to that, it can certainly run a place in this. This is the one that could throw a bit of value into the TT if it could lob into a place. I've got 7 on top clearly in the banker, I think, from 4, 10, 1, 2, 9 and 12. The only other one I'd probably consider throwing in at this stage would be the 3, China Power. We go to race 5. This is the killer race. 1800 metres. Hardly any of them have got any form. They all have a million convictions between them. They find trouble most of the time. It is the most difficult race on the card, so naturally they've whacked it in the middle leg of the TT. I think 5, Golden Scalpel, we're going to have to take a risk here. I think with Purton going on and from the good draw, he should be able to get it into a reasonable position. Now, this has found a bit of trouble. He went back last time. The jock gave it no hope. I think Purton's a big plus. I think this, very, very hard race. I think this is probably one of the bankers we'll consider. Oxford Charlie was a good run last start. Its course not held by barrier 10, but Chadwick's a plus. Expectator Maria is on. It's promised a lot. It's always well in the market, but it's a 16 start maiden. Number 7, Classy Victor. This is an interesting one. Dragged it back in a trial and was closing off really nicely. I think this has got a chance. Callan goes on. He's been riding really well. And this will be right up on the speed somewhere, so he could even lead if he wanted to. I think it's got to go in. 6, Sure Champ goes in despite the bad draw. Smart Union was a better run the other day, and this is a little bit weaker, so maybe it's definitely a place chance. And then you've got Dark Secret, Mazdarin, and Backbench Blues. It's a very, very tough race, but I think we're going to have to go with 5, Golden Scalpel on top from 4, 8, 7. Chances to 6, 9, 12, 3 and 1. The last leg of the TT, race 6. This one I think we can go skinny. I think Key Witness had no hope last start. They went to Sha Tin. He went forward from the wide draw and sat 3 and 4 wide. Attacked the lead at the 600. It was a decent run to get beaten 2 lengths when the ride just gave it absolutely no hope. When it won, he dragged it back to near last and just swamped them and killed them. I think that's what he's got to do here. Douglas White goes on it. That's a big plus. Now, the other key factor is 52.5. Douglas doesn't ride at 52.5 unless he thinks they can win. He struggles with this weight. He has to work hard to get down to it. I think, check the stats, about a month ago he was in this position. I think he'd done it something like 10 or 11 times and 7 of them had won. So for him to be getting down to 52.5, he must give this a terrific winning chance and probably want to ride it into better races. It's got more upside than most of these. It's the one to beat clearly. Stepfast has drawn a barrier this time. Its last 2 runs, drew wide, went forward, attacked the lead. His last run was good, it's only got beaten a few lengths. From barrier 3, even with Mosse on it, worst case scenario, 3 wide, but I think this can probably lead if he wants to. But there is a little bit of speed here, so I'm hoping he just sits right behind them. He should be able to slot this into the moving line, even from barrier 3. Shouldn't be able to do too much damage. Pure Volant, barrier 2, Purton goes on. If you can hold up, 3 back the rails and just wait, it'll be running and charging home late. Tony Boy had no hope last start, the way it was ridden. Now they've given it a freshen up, and its track work's been really good. Marira goes on, so that's going to make it well in the market, but it's a winning chance. And Heart's Keeper, I think this is probably the pace if he wants to lead. Chadwick's on it with 53 kilos. They appear the only chances for me. The only other 2 that I'd probably consider is number 2 and number 4, but I've got 12 clearly on top from 6, 7, 5, 11, 2 and 4. We go to race 7. For me, looks a race in 2, Grand Elite or Jazzy Feeling, depending on which one gets the better run in transit. I think one of them is going to win. Grand Elite, he took off far too early, flushed him out for no reason. If he waits another 100 metres, it can't lose. Jazzy Feeling just runs good races all the time. It's just a little bit weak the last 100, well, probably the last 75 metres. It starts to look around. Twice now it's given the race away, hanging on over the last 75 metres. If he gets it to go straight now, Deleuze is a big plus here. I think he knows this horse better than anyone. He's won on it. Douglas rode it last time. He rode a good race on it. It was no problem, but I think Deleuze knows this horse better than anybody, and he's gone back on. So I think this probably is the main danger to Grand Elite. Behind those 2, Flying Chaparral, First Sight Love, Electronic Fortune. Double Glory is an interesting one. Bolted up in a trial on the all-weather track. Hadn't done anything like that before. So maybe this has turned the corner and could be one that could run into a place at a price. I've got 8 and 3 locked together from 10, 1, 7, 4, 5, 2. And the last race, good race this. There's a few in here that have got plenty of upside for the future. Golden Harvest, he got flushed out on this and took off far too early, got left in front and was still there. He'll be much better for the run. It's the one to beat. Won't be any price, I don't think. This is probably going to start short, especially with Marira on it. Exciting Dreams drawn well, goes good fresh. Track works average, nothing flash, but that's the type of horse it is. Beauty Sparkle trialled really well and goes good first up and goes good track and distance, so it must go in. Of the rest, My Name is Bond continues to race well. Bobo Dragon's resuming. Track works good, but no trial. Bit of a concern. Then Metallic Star at a price. I think this one from barrier 3 might be able to run in the money at a bit of a decent price. Of the rest, Happy Yeah, Carga Force. They look the next best. Carga Force was a nice trial on the all-weather. All its form in Australia was on wet ground, which coincides with all-weather racing. So this could be going for a hit out tomorrow and then heading to Shartin Dirt shortly. We'll keep an eye out for it. As I say, a good card. Good luck if you're playing. I'll have a look at the midweek racing. There's the Newmarket at Newcastle on Wednesday. Good race. Just waiting for the markets to go out. I've found a couple there that I think have got a bit of a chance at a price. I'm just waiting to see what price they put up. Not sure what's going to be favourite, but I think it'll be quite a wide betting race. So we may play a small pick 4 there because that should be a reasonable pot being the main race of the day. But I will do a preview later in the day for tomorrow's Oz racing. There are a couple of races around the place that aren't too bad. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Good luck if you're playing tomorrow, and good luck for the rest of the week. We posted a win on the weekend. Let's hope we can follow it up with a collect in the TT tomorrow and get back on track and push forward for big run towards the end of the season. Thank you for tuning in.